I'm Lynn Taylor, back with more insights into how to build and maintain excellent cabling data networks. And today we're going to find out which is more dangerous to the operation of your network, rats or staff. And here to tell us the answers is our main sponsor, Wayne Connors, MD of ACCL Limited. Wayne, great to have you back with us.
Hi, Lynn.
So in your experience, what do we really need to do? Get the rat poison out or sort out the staff?
Staff or rats? That's a good question. It's sad but true, but the biggest threat to any network is the actual clients, is the end user. A badly designed and badly implemented network or structured cabling system can cause major problems later on.
Can you give us a typical example of a major problem?
Probably the biggest area of concern for us is location of floor boxes. Most floor boxes are installed without really looking at where they're going to be in relation to the desk and the feet of the people that are actually sitting at those desks. On many occasions now we've seen floor box and cables damaged because there isn't sufficient protection to those cables, there isn't any cable management in place, and when the clients have got their feet underneath the tables, they're pushing the cables, they're pushing the floor box lids, which is actually using like a guillotine to actually sever the cables coming out of the floor. So the position of floor box is quite critical.
What other things will people unwittingly do to damage the network?
A lot of these clients now are not supplying sufficient desk storage facilities on there, or centralising the desk storage facilities. So the desk becomes an extra extension of the home. We see on many occasions loads and loads of shoes, clothes, handbags, clutter underneath the desk, which is all well and good, but it does actually affect the network, because when we've seen on many occasions stuff being thrown underneath the desk which actually chops and damages the cables that are there. The other thing is pedestal units. Pedestal units are put in, and usually the floor box is stuck underneath the pedestal unit. And when the pedestal units are being pulled out or relocated, they can also damage the cables. So the location of the floor box is quite critical. I know it sounds really silly thing, but we get called back to many projects where cables are faulty. It's always a cable network that's a problem. The problem isn't the cable network, the problem is that the cable has been designed in such a way that the client's feet are actually damaging it.
When you do find these problems, what do you recommend to remedy these situations?
Well, we sit down and we look at the client's existing infrastructure. We look at the desking arrangements that they've got. I mean, if the client's already there, then we start looking at repositioning the floor boxes to limit some of the cable damages. I mean, we've got many photos of floor boxes being collection points for paper clips, rubber bands, pencils, pens, and a few other things that I don't particularly want to mention. But we need to start looking at how we can position those floor boxes to, one, keep them out of the feet, out the way of the feet of our clients, and two, to make sure that if they've got a lid, the lid's correctly in place, and that the exit points on that lid are used, and it's not just a case of the cables just coming out wherever they want to come out on that lid.
So you've really got to walk the floor and spot all these things and how people use or abuse the office space and even the furniture they use.
It's surprising, but we really do need to understand what the client's going to be using the system for and what kind of environment we're going to be deploying it in. We need to be able to protect those cables, because if we don't protect the cables, it's going to create faults on the networks. So we need to look at how we're going to install it, how they're going to be managed. Is there desk management? Many of the new desks that are coming out on the market are designed to be eco-friendly and ergonomic, but they haven't actually got any cable management in there. So how do you actually support those cables? So we need to be able to take that into consideration, because if we don't, then the client will damage those cables, not because they want to damage them, but because their feet will catch the cables, snag the cables, damage the sockets, damage the cable, damage the outlets, and then we get called back in, or the network support team get called back in to try and find out where those issues are and try and eradicate them. So planning is key to any network design.
Wayne, that's some really good insight and advice as always. Thanks for that.
Thanks very much.
There you go. If you follow Wayne's advice, you're going to get far less hassle and IT downtime. All it takes is adequate storage and careful design of the workspace to keep your network running smoothly. Now, next time, I'll be interviewing a project manager from ACCL to find out what makes a data cabling project from hell and how to avoid it. Don't miss it.